The story of Absalom's conspiracy is one of the most dramatic and tragic stories in the Bible. It's a story of rebellion, betrayal, pride, and consequences. Absalom, the son of King David, led a rebellion against his own father, seeking to take the throne by force. In today's video, we'll explore the key lessons we can learn from this story. Lessons about the dangers of pride and unchecked ambition, the importance of leadership and accountability, and the power of forgiveness. Through animated illustrations, we'll bring this story to life and see how it can inspire us to live with humility and grace. Let's begin by revisiting the story. Absalom was one of King David's sons, and he was known for his good looks and charm. But beneath the surface, Absalom harbored resentment toward his father, particularly after David failed to punish his eldest son, Amnon, for the assault on Absalom's sister Tamar. Over time, Absalom's bitterness grew, and he began plotting to overthrow David. Absalom stood at the city gate, gaining favor with the people by presenting himself as a more just and attentive leader than his father. Eventually, Absalom declared himself king and forced David to flee from Jerusalem. David, heartbroken by his son's betrayal, left the city to avoid conflict. Absalom's rebellion, however, did not end in victory. In a final battle, Absalom's forces were defeated, and Absalom himself was killed, caught by his hair in a tree as he fled on horseback. Despite Absalom's rebellion, David mourned his death deeply, crying out, "Oh, my son Absalom, would I had died instead of you." The first lesson we learn from Absalom's story is the danger of pride and unchecked ambition. Absalom's desire for power led him to betray his father and attempt to seize the throne. His pride made him believe that he was more deserving of the crown than David, and this pride ultimately led to his downfall. This teaches us that when pride and ambition go unchecked, they can lead us to make decisions that are harmful to ourselves and others. In our own lives, we need to be careful not to let pride take control. Instead, we are called to live with humility, trusting in God's plan for our lives, rather than seeking power or recognition for ourselves. Another powerful lesson from this story is the importance of leadership and accountability. David's leadership was far from perfect. His failure to deal with Amnon's sin contributed to Absalom's rebellion. However, when Absalom rose against him, David showed remarkable humility. Instead of seeking revenge or trying to crush his son's rebellion with force, David fled the city to avoid bloodshed. He didn't allow his authority as king to make him act in anger or pride. David's response teaches us that true leadership requires humility, grace, and accountability. As leaders, whether in our families, workplaces, or communities, we are called to lead with integrity, seeking the well-being of others rather than our own power or status. The third lesson from Absalom's story is that rebellion against God's authority, like Absalom's rebellion against David, always leads to consequences. Absalom's desire to overthrow his father's kingdom led him down a path of destruction. In the end, his rebellion cost him his life, and it brought great sorrow to David. But what's remarkable is that, despite Absalom's betrayal, David did not hate his son. In fact, David's heart was filled with grief when he heard of Absalom's death. This teaches us the power of forgiveness. David could have been consumed by anger and bitterness, but instead, he mourned the loss of his son. This shows us that even when we are deeply hurt by others, we are called to forgive, just as David forgave Absalom. Forgiveness frees us from the burden of bitterness and allows us to reflect God's grace. In conclusion, the story of Absalom's conspiracy offers us powerful lessons about the dangers of pride, the importance of humble leadership, and the power of forgiveness. Absalom's ambition led to his downfall, but David's humility and grace remind us of the kind of leadership God desires from us. As you reflect on this story, consider how these lessons apply to your own life. Are you letting pride or ambition take root in your heart? Are you leading with humility and seeking accountability in your decisions? And are you willing to forgive those who have wronged you, just as David forgave Absalom? If this video inspired you, don't forget to subscribe for more content that helps you grow in your faith and share this message with others.